Did you know that sometimes the feelings that you're struggling with aren't even yours? If you're new here, my name's Jen. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist mindset coach here to help you manifest the life of your dreams by giving you the proper mindset tools and techniques. So if you're interested in more content of that nature, be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, say hi, let me know what you think of this video. So this is a new series that I'm going to be starting called Tales from the Chair, where I share some personal experience, client experiences, observation experiences that happen in hypnotherapy. And today specifically, I want to talk about entity attachment, or this idea that sometimes the feelings that we're struggling with aren't even ours to begin with. I'm going to be sharing my own personal experiences with this that have happened to me recently. But you would be totally surprised to learn how often this happens and how often it happens to the most unsuspecting of people who are logical, rational thinkers that don't even believe in entities. And now this happens most often when you are taking someone into a parts therapy session. This is, say, when you're dealing with maybe you're trying to lose weight or you are self-sabotaging. You would go into a parts therapy session to specifically target that part of you that is blocking you from achieving the success that you want. And sometimes the part that comes out could be a whole entity. More often than not, it's an inner child or it's an inner parent or some part of our own psyche, but sometimes it can be an entity. My experiences with parts therapy, it's always been an inner child, but I've had two recent experiences that ended up revealing to me that I had entity attachments. And when I use the word entity, it can be an earthbound spirit, it can be some kind of being. It doesn't necessarily mean that the entity has to be negative. In rare cases, it is negative, but it does happen. But as with everything, most likely just want to feel heard, seen, and loved. So it's really important to be thorough in the healing process when you're experiencing something like this. So now in my personal experiences, I wasn't actually doing a parts therapy session. I was doing a breathwork session. And now in our specific protocol and training, we have a very, very powerful breathwork technique where we use this rebirthing process through breath, and it can be like a powerful bridge for us to go into a regression. And again, when I use the term regression, I think a lot of people, when they think about hypnotherapy, they want to come in and be like, yeah, I want to go to my past life. And if you do watch this video and you feel an inkling like, oh, I would love to do hypnotherapy coaching, know that if you come to me and ask for a past life regression, I'm not going to just facilitate a past life regression. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed, healed, and identified from our own childhoods, and it's not always going to be some kind of past life experience. So keep that in mind. We learn these different protocols like releasing an entity or past life regression in the case that this does come up, but I am not somebody who's just going to facilitate past life experiences. I'm here to help you heal, and a lot of times there's a lot of healing that we have to do in our own childhoods. So in this particular situation, we were doing this powerful breathwork protocol that we have, and we alternate between being the observer, the facilitator, the client. And in my client session, one of the things that I wanted to take advantage and work on was these little mini depressive episodes that I tend to get into. And, you know, it causes me to feel a lack of motivation, lack of productivity. I take naps a lot. I was doing all these things that ultimately just made me feel like I lacked any purpose. There was a part of me that just didn't feel alive. And when we did the intake process, I used all of this language. I said, I feel like I'm not alive. I feel like I have no purpose. I feel like I'm wasting my time. All of these things were in the language that I was using. And then we moved into the breathwork cycle. And by the third cycle, I was already starting to feel something like swashing around in my stomach, almost like if I were pregnant and there were a baby in there. And now, trigger warning, because some of the things I talk about could be traumatic. It did happen to me in a past life, but I'm gonna try and tiptoe around that. But just letting you know that if you struggle with topics of loss and grief, then this might not be the video for you. But in this specific instance, I was feeling this energy inside of me, and I knew that it wanted to come out. The energy was communicating to me that it wanted to come out. And that's the really powerful thing about breath work, is it puts you into your body and it moves stuck energy. It can be really, really great for trauma healing and releasing. I had such a powerful experience with it that I'm currently furthering and extending my somatic healing breathwork certifications. So once I pinpointed that, I knew that the next step was to just work on releasing. Okay, let me work with my body to release this energy, whatever it needs to do. And I could feel like a certain part of me not wanting to let it go, but the part of me that wanted to let it go and let it move through me was greater. And then by the time that I did like give birth to whatever that energy was, it shot me back into a past life where I was a mother giving birth to a baby that I knew was going to be stillborn. And it was a very like traumatic, even sitting in the chair, it was very traumatic to the point where I just shut off and went into like a void. And I was able to feel myself as the baby, and I was able to feel myself as the mother. But specifically, I was able to communicate with that spirit of the child, and that baby being was still with me. And I think because of the experience being so traumatic, I clung and attached to that being and brought it into maybe not only this life, but multiple lifetimes, because that being was telling me, I don't know why you keep bringing me into this world. Like, I don't know why I'm here. I have no purpose in being here. I'm never going to materialize into the physical world. So I don't understand why you keep choosing this experience for yourself. I don't know why you keep bringing me in here. And we were able to do like a entity releasement. We were able to heal that past life self. We were able to facilitate dialogue and have this huge release. The craziest part of that whole experience is that after that, I went to the bathroom, and it just so happened that my time of the month started. So you want to talk about release? That was so crazy to me. But it was something that I noticed immediately, a shift in my energy levels, my productivity, feeling like this happened in December, and I mean, I was no longer blocking myself. I no longer take naps in the middle of the day. I'm super productive throughout the day. It was like an instant shift. But what that did for me, and this is what you'll find when you start doing the healing work or you start doing things like that, it creates kind of a ripple effect, because once you heal one thing, another thing might become super evident. And that's what happened for me. I started feeling something like very evident of this, like something that was a manifestation. It had to do with me being messy. And I started like not being able to ignore that mess. I started not being able to ignore the feelings that the mess incited within me, and it made me feel gross, and it made me feel this. And I'm like, there's a lot of people that are messy that don't feel grossed out by their mess. So like, this is something I kind of like to dive into in hypnotherapy, because this is obviously coming from somewhere. So I ended up booking a hypnotherapy session that week with my instructor, and again, we did another breathwork cycle. She's big on the breathwork, but there's other ways to induce hypnosis, but that is a powerful way to move energy and get you into an altered state. So we do another breathwork session, and I really felt as though I didn't dig as deep as I wanted to on that, and you can feel that way. Sometimes you have like an instant shift like I did with that experience, but sometimes it's more like the experience that I had here where I leave feeling like I feel like I didn't dig as deep as I wanted to, but what I did get out of that was that feeling of grossness and disgust was placed on me from my parents, unfortunately, on me, because I did grow up with two very clean parents, two very OCD parents. So I grew up being told I was messy. And then, of course, I formulated the belief that I was messy, and then that became ingrained in me, and I'm always grossed out by my mess and all these things, which is another way that doesn't have to be an entity, where the feelings and belief that you have aren't yours. They were placed upon you. They were placed upon you because of somebody else's internal thing, and this actually happens a lot in childhood. This is actually going to be way more common than, say, an entity attachment, is that you will go into hypnosis, you will go into your subconscious, and you will realize, oh, that was never mine to carry. That was somebody else's, and they placed it on me, and I made that judgment also my own. So when I cleared this one took me more time to see. It took like 2 months for me to like fully integrate what I had experienced, and for me to see the results, and to clean my apartment, and to like really shift my behavior and break the pattern of like, okay, I'm actually clean now. But I had to go through the whole process of releasing, and sometimes that takes 2 to 3 months. So hypnotherapy can vary. You can see results instantly, or you can see results that take a longer time. And now the third experience that I had was just this past weekend. We were doing past life regressions practice. So again, moving as the facilitator, moving as the client, being the observer. So when we went in to facilitate my experience, I was, again, working on the topic of why can't I feel content? Why can't I feel at peace? Why don't I feel still? You know, I have all of this abundance. I have all of the tools, but why am I not allowing myself to be in that energy? Why can't I just be in a state of peace? We specifically go into a past life, and in this past life, I was this woman who was locked up. I think she was like a witch or something, and she was gonna be stoned to death. And she was very, very angry and wanted revenge, and she wanted to prove her innocence, but obviously that wasn't gonna happen. She knew she was gonna die. She was very angry. And when we moved into the life between lives, she was still very, very angry, not wanting to release. And it wasn't until like halfway through, when they were trying to do like a core transformation on me, and the words I started using was like, what would feel even better? I was like, detachment. And I felt like the people facilitating for me weren't really listening to me, because I was like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. Like, and if I come out of this experience, I'm going to feel more anger. Like, and then I started realizing, as they were like lifting this energy up from me, when I said the detachment part of it, because they kind of caught the red flag, I was finally able to come out and be like, this is an entity. I think that this is an entity. This isn't me. Do not integrate me with this thing. And then I was able to have like clarity. And I think the being was also able to have clarity of like, oh no, I've trapped this person and made this person feel the way I felt trapped. I think this energy had me trapped in my own body. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't decide. She was very angry at a specific woman in this lifetime, so I don't know if I was the woman and she was punishing me, or if like this was one of my ancestors, or if this was like a curse that was placed on me, or some kind of cursed energy that was placed on me as revenge. I almost want to say it's more of the two ladders, because of what I was dealing with the wanting to do good things for myself, but then self-punishing, doing actions that were almost like self-punishing, that triggered more anxiety in me. Even though I have all the tools and resources, it's like I wasn't in control. And I was really struggling like the week before, doing an intake process on myself of like, why does this energy of not being in control keep coming up for me? Feeling like I'm out of control, feeling like I can't control. And then it all kind of made sense when I realized, oh, because there was some kind of attachment to me that was sharing my body with me or taking over to a certain point and was influencing these self-punishing behaviors. I wasn't in control. And then that came to a height when they were trying to do the core transformation and integration part of the hypnotherapy. I felt that panic even more, where I was like, I'm not in control, because I can't even speak out to be like, there is like an entity here. There is an entity present. Do not integrate me with this thing, until they were able to like, okay, well, lift up into the light. And I was able to like communicate and speak out for myself. And then like as soon as that happened, I just started crying. I just started crying because it felt like such a release and such a weight that was lifted. And I was in shock. I was in shock because I was not expecting that. I was not expecting to have that experience. And that's part of the crazy part of hypnotherapy, because you could think like, am I making this up? But I was not even in a place where I was expecting to have that experience, or that was the way my subconscious was going to work through it. And whether you believe in entities or past lives or not, the subconscious is so powerful, and it absorbs so much information, the movies that we watch, and it communicates in metaphor. So whether it's real or not, we're not truth detectors, okay? That's not our purpose there. It's obviously a storyline your subconscious needs to work through in order to release, in order to get you to your goal. And that's the storyline it's going to give you. So it's not about questioning like, was that experience real or not? The big thing is the results. Today I woke up and I did my breath work. I meditated. I lit my incense. I created this beautiful environment for myself, because whatever that was, I released it, and I'm no longer feeling the need to self-punish. So the goal was achieved. That's all that matters. So as you can see, hypnotherapy can be a super, super powerful experience. And if you are interested in going on a transformative journey of your own, having spiritual breakthroughs, or just unblocking yourself so that you can reach your full potential, then be sure to check out all my offers and resources. I will leave linked below. I'm hosting some workshops at the end of the week. So if you're not ready to dive fully into the deep end, you just want to dip your toes in, then check out that workshop that I'm hosting. Would love to have you, and I will see you in one of my next videos. Bye.